Welcome back to the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles, thank you for making us a part of your Saturday morning. Alex, we were off last week because of the NCAA tournament, so it's good to be back in the chairs, cracking the mics open.
It is good to be back.
It's been a little hit and miss for us
man.
over the past couple of months.
We might be a little rusty here today, but that's no problem because there's plenty to talk about. You have the Jazz last night playing a nail biter with the Denver Nuggets. You have plenty of March Madness action that happened over the course of the last 2 days, and more coming up later tonight. And then there's plenty to talk about locally as far as the teams that you guys care about, and we're gonna break all that down.
It's been a fun week. Long week, fun week. The NBA season is winding down. Just a few games left for the Jazz, and same with the Utah Mammoth, right? And with the Mammoth, we've got playoffs right around the corner. Presumably, that's hoping they don't continue to slide.
They're
back-to-back losses for the Mammoth. They still hold that top wild card spot, and we'll get into that later. They got a big game coming up against the Kings today. So you'd like to think we've got playoff hockey in Salt Lake City coming up soon. And there was some contention. I don't know if you saw any of that on social media regarding the pricing of the playoff tickets.
I did see that.
So we will get into all of that. But yeah, Alex, I think you make a good point. We will start with the Jazz because they lost to the Nuggets 135 to 129 last night, the Denver Nuggets. It was in Denver. This was a crazy game because this game was tied at half. What was it? I think it was like 62-62 at half.
Yes, that's right.
To start the third, the Jazz took the early lead, and they led the entire game, the entire second half, until 2 minutes and 55 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Nuggets finally overcame Bez Mbang and Elijah Harkless and who else? The Jazz, Oscar Tshiebwe, Kennedy Chandler, the GOAT. All this crazy stuff, and it's going around social media as it always does, right? I think it was Bez Mbang. He finished with 19 minutes on the night. He played the entire 12th quarter, entire 12 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
These shenanigans, they pull flip. You didn't see him late because he was having too good of a game. 25 points. Cody Williams had an amazing night. 24 points for the young kid there, and they get pulled because ultimately the Jazz need to lose this game. But the funny part, Alex, is the Jazz are not the only team that did this last night. I don't know if you saw some of the other scores from around the NBA. The Mavericks actually beat the Trailblazers. The Mavericks, a tanking team. So that win helps the Jazz out a ton there, actually. The Wizards were in a close one against the Warriors. The Wizards still lost 131 to 126. A really egregious one. This one was hilarious. Clippers-Pacers. Kawhi nails the buzzer beater, the go-ahead shot, with like 0.4 seconds left on the clock. You think it's a Clippers victory. And then there's a foul, and the Pacers go to the free throw line. The Pacers have a chance to win the game with free throws, and the dude missed both of them.
Yep. That's how you do it.
He had a chance to win the game with free throws with 0.4 seconds left, and he misses both of them. Conveniently, that keeps the Pacers with one of the worst records in the NBA. So it's just a funny night in the NBA last night. And, of course, what makes it so ironic is that yesterday is when all the anti-tanking proposals came out.
Right. I think of this one for the Jazz, man. There was moments in the third quarter where you're up by 10, and I think Ben tweeted it perfectly. Like, are the Denver Nuggets aware that they need to win this game? Because at times, like, it seemed the Jazz battled them hard. The Jazz battled them well. It was amazing to see Kyle Filipowski go for 25. Cody Williams, like you mentioned, had a phenomenal game. There was a lot of the young guys continue to show steps and continue to show really great things that I think Jazz fans can kind of hold on to and look to the future and say that there's going to be some pretty good solid rotation guys on that bench. When you look at guys like Flip, like Sensabaugh, like Williams, and it's even more so great to see someone like Cody Williams come around, because there was genuine concern whether or not Cody Williams was going to be
People were straight up mean to him last year.
Right,
Like,
right.
calling him the worst rookie ever.
Right.
Like, take it easy on this dude.
It takes time, man, and I think Cody Williams is a perfect example of that. It takes time, and now that we're seeing these type of performances, obviously there's still room to grow. Obviously there's still things for him to figure out, but it is nice to see Cody Williams kind of start to come around, and you can see that there is potential there for Cody.
I'm with you because at the end of the day, you know, what was Cody, 9th or 10th, right? Like, ideally you'd like to draft somebody with all-star potential. You could say that about any slot in the first round. You
Right.
want all-star potential with that pick. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's a coin flip of whether that dude's going to stick around in the NBA or not. And I'm not even talking all-star potential. I'm just talking about, you know, being a good enough NBA player to stick on a roster. So if you can have a 9th overall pick and just say, I don't care what his ceiling is, just guarantee me that he's going to be a solid rotation guy at the very minimum, you know, I think some teams would take that. Obviously, in the Jazz situation where they do have the star power in Lauri Markkanen, they just traded for Tripp, and it's looking like Keontae George is on the way there. Ace Bailey certainly has that potential as well. You do have a little bit more leeway with those other draft selections, right? So, I mean, it's not like they're burning these draft picks on fire, man. I think they've done a really good job drafting ever since this rebuild started, because you look at, obviously, Rudy and Donovan were traded after that 22 draft. So you look at 23, 24, 25, and then this year the 26 draft. That's 4 drafts. And, I mean, there's been a couple, quote-unquote, I don't even want to call them misses. Like, I don't think they've straight up missed on any of these picks. Taylor Hendricks, they were able to include him in a trade package to go get an all-pro or all-NBA level player. So It's like, I wouldn't even count that as a miss. And Cody, I mean, the jury's still out on him, but he's definitely taken jumps in his second year. And like Bryce Sensabaugh, his role is there as a bench scorer, and what more could you ask for from the 28th overall pick? So I think the drafting has been really, really good over the last 3 drafts for the Jazz, and credit Ainge, credit Jay-Z, man. Those guys have done a really, really good job, and I mean, that's why they were brought in, right? That's their calling card, is these guys can identify the talent. So I'm with you.
Absolutely. You identify that talent, you bring them in, and then it's great to see these guys develop, and it's great to see these guys have that potential to contribute to a winning Jazz team, because I think everybody is excited about the thought of Walker Kessler, Jaren Jackson Jr., Lauri Markkanen, whoever you have at that 2 spot, and then obviously Keontae George. And I think there's a lot of excitement of what potentially could be the Jazz next season, but to win in this league, you need to have that bench scoring. You need to have that depth. You need to have a great rotation players, and I think you are starting to see the evolution of some of these young guys who can really be massive contributors to a winning Jazz team.
Well, and it's funny because I don't know whether this was an instance of, I mean, let's call it like it is. If the Jazz and Nuggets play 10 times this season, how many of them are going to be this close, right?
Right.
And I do want to be honest and say that, yeah, if the Jazz or if the Nuggets are welcoming the Jazz into town, you probably don't really wake up for that game. Like, we can roll out of bed and win this thing, right? And then you get into action and they realize they still do have to play, because there are some NBA players on the Jazz, right? And the Nuggets, for as good as they are, you can't just sleepwalk through anything. And Jokic put up a pretty good stat line, right? 33 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 assists. He also had 7 turnovers. This was just a lazy game by the Denver Nuggets, and that's why it was so close. But on the flip side, Alex, I'm not going to lie to you, I get really excited when I see this group of Jazz players pushing an NBA contender all 4 quarters, and you're not even seeing Lauri Markkanen. You're not even seeing Keontae George. You're not even seeing Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, if this group of Jazz guys can play this good against the Denver Nuggets, that makes me really excited for next year.
Something may be cooking. Something may be cooking.
Oh, man. It's just, dude, I'm just thinking of a guy like wandering through the desert for 4 years.
Right.
And he's just now getting to the horizon, and he's like, I can see a city, you know, I can see a way out and we're almost there. I just got to walk, this last couple miles.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel, man.
The light is so bright,
and it's very, very bright. It's very, very bright, and I think there was moments last night where I'm watching that game and I'm watching the Denver Nuggets defensive performance, and there was moments where it was really lackadaisical.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if there was a little bit of this is just the Jazz.
Yeah.
We can put in 60% effort and call it good. I'm sure once you have, you line up against this Denver team and you have a Jaren Jackson Jr., you have Lowry, etc. I'm sure that the Nuggets will be maybe a little bit less lackadaisical, but regardless, nevertheless, right? I think the Jazz and the Denver Nuggets series next year can be intriguing.
Well, I mean, intriguing is it's more than intriguing. It's right. I'm sitting here on the edge of my seat because we're talking about a team that's built not only to contend next year, but for, 5 to 10 years after that. And especially if they can nail whoever they draft in this year's draft. Like if they can nail that prospect plus Ace Bailey plus Keontae George almost gives the Jazz 2 different timelines to play with, because you've got Tripp and Lowry who are in their late 20s and they're in their primes and ready to win now. But then you've got the youngsters with the extremely high ceiling, and they're ready to carry you into the next generation. So,
absolutely.
I do want to play this, as long as we're talking about the Nuggets struggling to play with the Jazz. There was a very funny moment in the radio broadcast last night. There was like I mentioned, the game was in Denver, right? There was a Denver Nuggets fan whose comments were picked up by the radio broadcast.
Uh-oh.
Very frustrated that the Nuggets were struggling with this Jazz team. Let's play that.
Cody driving on Jokic. Flares to the corner. It's Chandler for 3, and it's good. Kennedy Chandler from the right corner. 14 for... And another guy yells in the crowd, "Come on, Nuggets, you're losing to Utah!"
Nice.
Oh, man, that's how you know you're doing something right.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, Kennedy Chandler, who is this guy? He's a 10-day guy, and Bez and Bang and Elijah Harkless and all these guys are coming in on 10-day contracts, and they are pushing this Jazz team all 4 quarters with the Nuggets. And it was a very fun game, literally from the start, right? And it was tied at halftime, and you've got this squad of just absolute dogs out there playing for their careers, auditioning to all 29 other NBA teams saying, "Hey, I'm worth a roster spot," whether it's here in Salt Lake City or not. And these guys are putting it all out on the line, and then you've got, "Come on, Nuggets, you're losing to Utah." I love it.
Oh, man. And it's a conversation we've had in the past. It's a conversation that you've brought up before on the show, and it's players don't tank. Right, because you have Oscar Tshiebwe, you have Kennedy Chandler, Bez and Bang. This is their audition. This is their opportunity to go out there, put some tape out, and say, "Hey, I do belong in this league." Whether it be with the Jazz, whether it be somewhere else, this is their audition to potentially make an NBA roster heading into next season. One guy that really stuck out to me though last night, Christian, was John Conchar. He was one of the guys that came over with the Jaren Jackson trade, and he's bringing some fun play, some interesting play, I think, on both sides of the ball.
30 minutes for the Conch. 8 of 10 shooting is actually crazy, right?
Yeah.
He finished with 16 points, so all 8 of his shots, all 8 of his makes were 2-point attempts. He shot 1 3-pointer. He did miss it. But, Alex, he also brought down 8 rebounds. He found 2 assists. He had 1 steal and 2 blocks, but those numbers don't illustrate everything he does on the defensive. And he is just so pesky. I mean, he is...
Yeah, that's what stands out. Is what he brings on the defensive side specifically.
He is so frustrating to go against because, again, you talk about guys playing for their jobs right now. I mean, if John Conchar is out there for 30 minutes, he is going to be giving 110% for all 30 of those minutes. And I'm talking you go play 5-on-5 pickup ball on a Saturday morning. He's the try-hard guy out there. He's the try-hard guy who's like, "Oh, I didn't make it in high school. I could have played college if I wanted, but I was good in high school. I just didn't want to play college ball." Like that guy who you hate to go against because he's just always, you think of the defensive stance and he's like shuffling his feet and getting in your way and hitting all the balls out of bounds. That's John Conchar, man. And you need that. You know, I used this term earlier to talk about these guys, but it's just a dog. Like it's a guy who puts the team above himself in the sense that he's not out there saying, I'm a star, I got to play my game because I have a reputation to hold up. My job is on the line with this game. Yeah. I need to show that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to help this Jazz team win the game. And although they didn't win last night and they haven't been winning this season, they're playing close games.
Right.
And they're still in it late in part because of the efforts of guys like this. So you're totally right talking about filling out that bench next year and what that rotation group is going to look like. I mean, if you've got, your starting 5 and then your 10 reserves are made up of 10 John Conchars, I mean, that is a heck of a depth rotation
absolutely.
As far as dudes that are just going to come in and give the other team fits.
And if you want to make that deep run in the playoffs, if you want to make that deep run to potentially go compete for a Western Conference championship, to potentially go compete for an NBA championship, you need to have that. You need to have guys you need to have 6 or 7 John Contras on your bench, and you can potentially get that in some of these young guys, man. We'll see, but there is a lot of, I know they're 21 and 53, man, but I think from where the Jazz were a year ago to today, as we're sitting here watching this, we know the assignment, we know they're losing games, but I've honestly been uber impressed with everything that we've seen from the young guys and everything we've seen from the guys coming in through the injuries and playing through. Even some of the 10-day guys have been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who Conchar reminds me of a little bit?
Who's that?
You remember when the Cavs won the title, won the finals? Would that have been 18, I guess. But Matthew Dellavedova, you remember him?
Oh yeah.
Play style's not super similar, right? But the big thing in that finals run was there were several loose balls on the ground, and Dellavedova went like almost viral, I guess, for just diving on all these loose balls and throwing his life on the line. No regard for what's going to happen to his knees, getting scraped up on that floor. And he's just hustle player, keeping the Cavs alive by making all these hustle plays. And that's exactly what I see when I see John Conchar, and I'm not talking about like offensive play style. I don't care about getting into that, but just guys that,
just about the effort.
Dude, when they're on the floor,
just about the effort and doing everything you can to make sure that you're in a position to help this team win.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So I do mention the funny thing yesterday with all these tanking teams that were in close games and then they do end up losing. The Wizards, by the way, the Jazz are not the only team that were pulling all their starters. The Wizards did the exact same thing late against the Warriors, which is funny because the Warriors are also tanking, right? But the Wizards, you did not see Bub Carrington or Bilal Coulibaly down late. I mean, everybody's doing the same thing that the Jazz are doing.
Absolutely.
And notice nobody has been fined for it since the Jazz have, so whatever. But I mentioned the ironic thing is yesterday, Adam Silver, through ESPN, released the 3 anti-tanking measures that are going to be voted on potentially this offseason. And he did mention that, they were still going to be tweaked. None of these proposals were final, but
going back to a conversation that we had a little bit ago, where we talked about how it's not just an anti-tanking issue, it's a lottery issue.
Exactly.
These ones are more geared towards the lottery. Now, having read them and having gone through them, I don't necessarily know if the options that were presented by Shams yesterday, I don't know. You tell me what you think, Christian. But one option is an 18-team lottery that would include the 7 through 15 seeds in both conferences with flat odds of 8%.
Horrible.
With the teams for the teams with the 10 worst records, right? So the 10 teams would have 8% chance of winning the lottery rather than just rather than the top 4. Option B is a 22-team lottery. Remember this one? I don't even want to go into it even further. As soon as I read that, I automatically moved on, because why are we letting playoff teams be in the lottery? It makes no sense to me. no sense to me. You're allowing mid teams who made the playoffs have a chance at the number 1 overall pick. Now, the caveat to the 22 team lottery is it would be like the WNBA where you have cumulative records over a 2-year period.
Okay.
So that kind of adds a little wrinkle to it that maybe it could work. Maybe it could be something, but also if you have less than 25 wins, you'll automatically be scribbled in with 25 wins to kind of keep the playing field even.
It's a terrible idea because what keeps you, you hit that 25 win mark and then you just lose every game after that.
Right.
Like where the Jazz are at 21 wins right now. So you're telling me an extra 4 wins would satisfy Mr. Silver?
If the Jazz was out for the rest of the season under this option B, they would ultimately, as far as the lottery odds go, for the purposes of the lottery, they would have 25 wins on record.
Well, the NBA's argument for that would be, okay, you are given a minimum of 25 wins in this system anyway, so you might as well try to win at least 25 games. The Jazz have only 21 wins this year, and they've been playing they've been having these shenanigans.
Yeah.
So what's an extra 4 wins over the course of this season going to actually matter towards, that was real quality basketball that we saw. So that's all of these ideas are terrible, right?
Yeah.
So what's the third one?
And then there is an option C where, again, it is an 18-team lottery that includes the 7 through 15 seeds from both conferences with flat odds for the teams with the 5 worst records. But essentially there would be 2 lotteries.
Yeah.
The first one would determine the top 5 picks.
Okay.
The second one would determine the 13 picks that follow. Again, I don't know if that necessarily is your solution.
Okay, let me tell you. So when the Jazz got fined and everybody was giving their hot takes on how to fix tanking and fix the draft and fix the lottery, I came out and I said, okay, I want at least 2 things you got to keep in mind when fixing whatever, right? The whole point, if you're going to do a draft, right, because not every professional league has a draft. You see European soccer, right? They don't have a draft.
No.
And they still make it work. So if you're going to do a draft, the whole point is to give the bad teams an avenue to get better. And you really got to keep that in mind if you're going to do it this way, if you're going to do a draft. And I think that gets lost in this lottery system. If you're going to give the top or the bottom, 8 or 10 teams all equal odds at getting the top seed in the draft, how are you ever supposed to get better if you are organically a bad team? Like if you are just a terribly run franchise, how are you ever supposed to get better if you keep getting the 10th overall pick, right? And you're just inevitably going to have bad luck like that, and that's going to happen. So you got to keep that in mind. I'm not saying that that's all you should think about because clearly things do need to be fixed. So that leads me to my second point when throwing out ideas for this, and that's I don't need a rule book manual to understand how this draft and lottery is going to work. I don't need how many words is this freaking article that ESPN put out yesterday? Like, I don't need to sit there and read and do my homework
to figure out what's going to happen on lottery night.
Do you remember the NBA's big problem last year? One of the big storylines was that they were losing viewers and the viewership numbers were tanking. And It was a big problem last year. It was a big narrative and big storyline was how can the NBA keep its viewers and why are people not watching the NBA as much anymore. And it's things like this that just way overcomplicate things. You take a random guy off the street who just wants to be a casual Jazz fan in passing. You don't want to have to explain to him why the Jazz finished with, the 3rd worst record in the NBA. You'd think you'd be the 3rd overall pick. No, actually, because of the 5x5 lottery system, they fell to pick number 9 because they had this percent odds. That's so ridiculous.
Or because of option B and what potentially could be a 22-team lottery, you have the 3rd worst record, but it doesn't matter because it's a cumulative over a 2-year record. If you went. If you had 40 wins the last season, and then, for some reason, similar to a Pacer situation like the next year, it doesn't do anything for you.
No.
It doesn't matter because it's over a 2-year.
It's
It's
so
over a
dumb.
2-year period.
I think part of this is it's a multifaceted issue, right? It's not just clearly the way that the lottery and draft is set up right now is a flawed system. No matter what happens, there are always going to be flaws in whatever system you're doing, and teams are going to exploit however they can to rig things in their favor, right?
Yep.
So it's not just a NBA draft and NBA lottery problem. It's also an NBA on-court problem. And I think that part needs to be addressed as well. I think the simplest solution, if you're talking about fixing the draft and fixing tanking, you just take away the stupid lottery, right? Just do it based on the standings. Worst team gets the number 1 pick and go from there. You're always going to have bad teams. You're always going to have teams that add a couple extra losses because they want a better draft pick.
Yeah.
Who cares? Fix the on-court product. I'm sick of watching Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shoot 20 free throws a game and hooking everybody's arms because that's supposed to be basketball right now. That's not what the good Dr. Basketball Neesmith envisioned when he created this beautiful game. No. Fix the on-court product first and worry about. I mean, this draft will sort itself out. Like, really.
I think too, man. If you just go straight, if you just forego the lottery, you go straight. Worst team gets the number 1, second worst gets the number 2. And just have a straight draft like that. I feel like you'll have. But I feel like eventually you will get to a point where there is less tanking because the chances of you getting a franchise-changing player in those top picks, it changes franchises. It can change. It can allow someone like the
Right.
Wizards to stop tanking after a year or two, and that's how a way you can prevent tanking.
Yeah. If
Allow the bad teams to get the best talent.
that's what they need, and that's the whole point of the draft. Now, it's a completely different conversation. If you want to figure out a different way to bring college talent into the NBA and get rid of the draft and do something else, I'd be open to conversations. But, all of the, what do they call it? The Big 5 leagues in America, whatever, they all have a draft, right? So why would you do something different just because?
Right.
Again, it's you pluck a random guy off the street, and it's like, that's what everybody else does. Why would you complicate things just to be different?
I think though the good news for Jazz fans is that these roles and everything is changing now, where you could potentially turn a corner where you are no longer having to worry about your lottery picks.
Yeah, ideally for now. You never know what's going to happen 10 years from now or
Right.
15 years from now, and hopefully, once you get that ball rolling, you can continue the success and parlay that. But people are always, you never know. I mean, Indiana was in the finals last year, and now all of a sudden they're rebuilding. So you never know what teams are going to want to do. But I'm so sick of all of this, and I do think that Adam Silver put out the most. I don't even want to call it uncreative proposals yesterday because they were so wordy and so creative. Like, dude, just chill out a little bit. Just, you know what this was? This was a group of, you think of a bunch of white collar dudes sitting at a table that have never touched a basketball in their life.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how can we fix this? Oh, the data says,
And
the statistics say that this would be the best way to do it. And it's like, dude, stop overcomplicating things.
Yeah, and let's not forget Adam Silver trying to give himself more power by trying to impose as well more punishments for teams tanking.
Yeah.
As in taking away, potentially, right, it still needs to be talked about, it still needs to be voted on, but there is a proposal out there as far as harsher penalties go for tanking and for being involved in tanking, which can potentially lead into you losing your first-round pick or moving back.
We'll see, man.
So that Adam Silver essentially is putting a proposal out, though, that will give him more power to control the draft the way that he wants to control it.
That sounds like the plot of Star Wars. That's how Emperor Palpatine rose to power.
There you go, man.
Shout out Connor watching on YouTube. He says, "Good morning, boys."
Good morning, Connor.
Hi, Connor. Thanks for watching, man. There is always a YouTube chat up. I know it's hard when we don't have a show every Saturday to stay consistent with that. Always appreciate people dropping comments and dropping in, leaving thoughts. So let us know your thoughts on these stupid anti-tanking proposals. Let us know how you would fix the lottery. Let us know what you think of Adam Silver. Let us know what you think of the Jazz. Or you can always use the call-in feature on the KSL Sports app. We appreciate that as well. We're going to take a break. Coming up next, Alex, I got into it with some Cincinnati fans over the weekend, or over the week.
Yep.
I want to get into this. I've been looking forward to it all week. We'll get to that next. Stick with us. It's the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome back to the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles. Real quick, if you're looking to get your soccer fix this morning, Utah Royals taking on Boston. It's going on right now, 0-0 in the 29th minute. That's over on 1280 AM. So appreciate you listening to us. If you're looking for the Utah Royals, that is on the 1280 signal, also streaming on YouTube. Okay, Alex, we had some drama in the state earlier this week. Utah State losing another head coach, Jerrod Calhoun, going to Cincinnati after losing to Arizona last Sunday. It was crazy. It's almost the exact same thing that happened with Danny Sprinkle. Like, there were rumors that the team was flying home from San Diego. That's where the game was played. Team was flying home from San Diego, and the news broke while the team was on the plane. And so, like, the plane lands and everybody's phone starts going off, finding out their coach had left.
Yeah.
There were rumors that Calhoun didn't even tell the team, and they found out through social media on the plane like everybody else. I don't know how true all that is. I don't really care. You know, it happened.
Yeah.
And this is not the first time that it's happened for Utah State.
No. And you know, first, I think the Aggies deserve a lot of credit. I thought they battled Arizona hard, man.
Dude, they did.
That is the number one team.
It was a heck of a game.
Number one team in the country. Arizona has a really, really big shot of being the national champion. And for the what I think national media would look at as a talent discrepancy or Utah State being a weaker side, I thought they battled them well, man. To be down, what was it, 4 with...
They were down by 3 at one point.
Yeah.
At the under 4 timeout, they were down by 4. It was a 4-point game. Unfortunately, the final is a 12-point loss, right?
Yeah.
But I swear it was way closer than that, right? Like, that is free throws, and that's, end of game shenanigans. But I'll tell you what, Alex, that Arizona team did not feel comfortable at all until that final buzzer went off.
They battled them hard, man, and I knew that after we saw Utah State have such a great performance against Arizona, it kind of felt like that was it for Jerrod Calhoun.
Well, I mean, it's felt like that. Again, this is nothing new to Utah State fans. They are looking for their 5th basketball coach in 7 years.
Yeah.
You have success in Logan, and bigger programs start calling, and that's what we saw with Craig Smith and Ryan Odom and Danny Sprinkle and Jerrod Calhoun, and it's what we're going to see with the next guy that comes in, because he's going to win and he's going to put a team in the tournament and they're going to win a game or two, and that's going to look real good on his resume. So
as far as, and I know a lot of people online are, I guess, maybe upset's the right word about the way that the rumors came out that he didn't tell the team until they found out on social media and yada yada. I don't know what the reasoning behind it is. I don't know what the thinking behind it was. I think potentially, right, you want to allow the guys to get back to Logan, make sure everybody's together, and then tell the team. But whoever from Cincinnati let it leak.
Yeah.
Ugh. That's tough, man.
So,
that's tough.
So that was Monday.
I don't. It kind of paints Jerrod Calhoun in a bad picture, right? In a bad look, but I don't think it was meant with any ill intent.
Yeah, I don't. It's he's gone. He's in Cincinnati. Yeah. I don't care about him anymore.
Right.
and I have a beef with Cincinnati now because they've got a beef with me. So this all happened Monday. He wasn't announced as Cincinnati's head coach until Monday afternoon, right? So Monday morning, there were reports that Cincinnati was pursuing Jerrod Calhoun. Nothing was official. They were pursuing Calhoun. So I had a tongue-in-cheek tweet, right? I said, I'd really like to know what pros Cincinnati has over Utah State.
Yeah.
And Alex, let me tell you, I woke up all 4 people.
All 4 people
in Cincinnati,
Buddy.
Ohio.
I think you just about made angry the entire state of Ohio.
Well, Cleveland and Cincinnati don't like each other.
That is true.
So
Okay,
I've
sorry,
at least got half
of Ohio.
Half of Ohio mad at me because clearly I didn't recognize, according to them, that they're a Power 4 program, and Power 4 programs are better than mid-major programs and have more money.
Yeah.
Really. I had no idea. Thanks for letting me know, guys. I don't know. They're sitting here talking about historically 12th winningest program of all time, and they've had some really good years, yada, yada, yada. Look, I'm looking at once they move to the Big 12, once they move to a Power 4 conference, when they've got all this money. I mean, 22-15 is respectable. Last year, they were 9-9 in conference. Like, that's respectable. That's not a bad program by any means, but 7th in the Big 12.
Yeah.
7th in the Big 12. And again, you're sitting here bragging about being a Power 4 school. Like, I couldn't tell. You weren't in the tournament this year.
Nope.
You weren't in the tournament last year or the year before. So, in fact, they have not made the NCAA tournament since 2018-19.
If anybody, if anybody can go in there and, I mean, we've seen Jerrod Calhoun
can
firsthand.
probably win.
Yeah. We've seen
Okay.
it firsthand.
Is he going to beat
It
Iowa
might take
State?
a little bit. I don't know. I don't think it's going to come.
Is he going to beat
necessarily.
BYU? Is he going to beat Houston or Arizona?
And that's where the question comes in, right? Right now the top of the Big 12 is so heavy.
Yeah.
And I don't anticipate that to be any different next season.
Right.
Because we've seen it a little bit. There's a shift now with NIL, now with the way that college sports is set up.
Yeah.
There is a shift that some of these big hitters in the Big 12 are getting better and better and really separating themselves from the bottom half. Mm-hmm. And I think we'll see where Cincinnati lands and all that. I don't know if they'll necessarily be at the level of the Arizonas, of the Houstons, of the Iowa States, right? But they can definitely be one of those teams, like a UCF, one of the middle of the pack teams that is going to be potentially in contention for the tournament. So
you're gonna make the NCAA tournament, win a game in the first round, and then lose in the second round. Exactly what happened in Logan.
Yeah.
So I'm not dumb enough to think that that Utah State can pay as much money as Cincinnati, or that Utah State has as much resources for the roster as Cincinnati. But I'm saying, like, if I had to put money on where Jerrod Calhoun could win more basketball games over the next 5 years, Logan or Cincinnati, I'd put money on Logan.
Yeah.
But some of these guys, dudes, I want to go through some of these tweets just because they were funny. They were funny. Right?
Can I start with the first one?
Yeah.
There's this one from Holy Cosmo that said, "You're getting cooked in the comments right now, but TBH, you deserve it, Christian."
A BYU fan. Well, and that's what's funny to me is you talk about, Cincinnati is the 12th winningest program all time in college basketball. You know who's 16?
Who's that?
Utah.
Yeah.
Right below Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You think Craig Smith regrets leaving Logan for Utah? His bank account probably doesn't regret it.
Yeah.
But you think right now, if you could travel back to whatever 2020 or 21, whenever he left, and say, hey, this is what's going to happen. You're going to get a nice contract, but your on-court product is going to be terrible. You're going to lose a bunch of fans. You're going to get fired. You think Craig Smith doesn't regret that? So I don't know, man. I just, and again, sometimes you make these tweets without realizing they can leave your little Twitter circle and make it across the entire country, and Cincinnati fans are going to find it and pick things up. Somebody asked if I've been having too much dirty soda. I thought that was really funny. History, resources, conference affiliation. It's just a different level of program. Utah State has been great and made good/great hires, but their last 3 coaches have left them for Washington, VCU, and Utah. Something tells me UC is a pretty easy decision. Sure. A bunch of this has to be rage bait. You don't say.
And you know what? Rage bait it right, you did.
Sure.
You did enrage a lot of Cincinnati fans.
And we can't listen. I also don't want to lose sight of the fact that, Calhoun went to Cincinnati. His first years coaching were as a grad assistant at Cincinnati. So obviously, obviously it's the chance for him to go home. Like, I don't know. People think that I'm dense.
Yeah.
Good. And don't realize that.
Good homecoming for Calhoun, man. But now I think Utah State has a really important hire to make, man.
It's crazy how uninformed they are in Utah. They literally think only the last 5 years of a bad hire exist. They have no idea Cincinnati has 4 to 5 times more NIL and can pay 3 times more as a coach now being a full member. The resources aren't even close. Yeah, true.
Which is funny because the CBS article that talked about Jerrod Calhoun taking the Cincinnati job, there was less NIL than I expected available to Cincinnati.
I mean, it's still way more than. I mean, Utah State has 0 NIL coming in from from the actual school. All of their quote unquote NIL was from outside revenues. Shout out Jim Lobb and those boosters, right? So, this is a funny one. It's the remember the movie Grown Ups?
I do, yeah.
How the one guy has the 2 daughters that are like supermodels, and then the third daughter that looks like him. Yeah. There's a picture of those daughters, and one of them says Cincinnati. The other one, the one that looks like Rob Schneider, says Utah State. That's really funny. I'd really like to know what rock you live under. Yeah.
What rock do you live under, Christian?
I live in Layton.
It's a pretty big.
Cincinnati has as many national titles as your entire conference. It's maybe a top 10 or 15 program of all time. What's the actual question?
Your conference?
I guess. I did not play college sports.
Oh, yeah.
Also, the Pac-12. I mean, they're Pac-12 now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. Look, I get it. Sometimes people can't read through sarcasm on Twitter. But at the same time, like, again, Jerrod Calhoun could have stayed in Logan for 10, 15 years and had a ton of success. They were a borderline Sweet 16 this year. I do think with a little bit more NIL, that team could make some real noise in March. And they did this year. I mean, again, they beat Villanova, a dang near blue blood program.
That was a fun game, man.
And then they had Arizona on the ropes.
Yeah.
And you're talking about a $2 million roster.
I think we're short on time here. I know we got to get to a break. So we won't play the full clip, but I think there was a clip circulating on social media about Jerrod Calhoun's introductory presser where he talks about Utah State being a top 30 job in America, but he felt slighted when he got the 9th seed, and obviously he wants to go on and win a national championship. And I think his comment of the game has changed and college basketball has changed forever because you win a regular season you win the regular season and you win the tournament title and you get a 9 seed. He's absolutely right. It's pretty telling. It's pretty telling on how the committee and Selection Sunday sees these mid-major conferences.
And that's just this.
I don't know
year.
if that changes.
San
I don't
Diego-
know if that changes now that you're heading to the Pac-12.
Yeah.
But I think that there's still, because of the new look Pac-12 and who's in the new look Pac-12. I mean, you have Gonzaga, and then you're going to have a bunch of
Right. The
former
WCC
Mountain
had
West.
3 teams in the
Right.
in the tournament this year. San Diego State was a 5 seed in the tournament last year.
So I don't know if that perception changes even now that you are taking the Pac-12.
I think it does. I think this was just a bad year for the Mountain West, and that's why Utah State got slighted. That's why they only got 1 team in the tournament. But I mean, San Diego State made a finals run just a couple years ago. Like, this is, people know this conference can ball. Again, they were a 5 seed in the tournament last year. Like,
Yeah.
it was just a down year for the conference and whatever. It was bad timing, but I get it. At the end of the day, if I could make more money to get a job for the program that I went to school at, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I don't blame Calhoun for taking 6-year, $3.7 million contract. Utah State can't match that.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they could, again, closer to home, that's where he's from. I totally get it. Whatever. Yeah, I can't wait to bookmark all of these, though, and come back to all the Cincinnati fans when they win, when they maybe win a game in the NCAA tournament next year. I don't even feel confident sitting here and saying they're going to make the tournament next year. Again, they were
I don't feel confident
9th
about
place
that
in the Big 12 this year.
Yeah.
9th place.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable with that either.
I don't know. Whatever, man. I've made an enemy of entire state. I'm not welcome in Ohio.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just Ohio.
Okay, we got to get a break. Coming up next, we've got a huge technical foul. You can guess what it is. I mean, it is textbook.
Yeah.
These are the mornings we wake up for, Alex. Like, these are the headlines that when they come out, I say, oh man, I can't wait to talk about that on the Saturday show.
Yep.
We got that next. So stick with us. We'll get to it. It's the Saturday show, 97.5 BKSL Sports Zone.
shoes on your feet, that's a technical foul. If you switch the radio to some modern music show, that's a technical foul. If you touch the thermostat,
You'll get hit with a bat.
'cause that's a technical foul.
You will feel my wrath.
That's a technical foul.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
A technical foul.
Welcome back to the Saturday Show 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles. It's time for Technical Fouls, one of our favorite segments every week. Alex, I did kind of tease this earlier. Sometimes, the way this segment works, we kind of got our ears to the ground all week, right? Like we'll see a headline Monday or Tuesday, kind of put it in the back pocket. I'll throw it on the dock maybe. Say, yeah, we could talk about this for technical fouls because it's funny.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's outlandish, whatever. Sometimes some weekends are a little lighter than others. You really got to dig pretty hard to find something, find a quality technical foul. But, Alex, sometimes these handlines are dang near sealed up and mailed to us in an envelope, right?
Yeah, I came into, I guess, yesterday thinking that my technical foul this week was going to be Dan Orlovsky and his constant pushing of Ty Simpson and the heat that he's taken over that. But then obviously yesterday happens, and you said it during the break. That sometimes the show just writes itself.
So Orlovsky can be a honorable mention.
Yes, he is an honorable mention.
Okay, because we have a technical foul that I think is big enough for both of our spots.
Yes,
Tiger Woods. Involved in a rollover crash yesterday in Florida. He has been charged with DUI. This is the second time this has happened. It's a crazy story. I don't know what's crazier, the actual story or the fact that you could look at this headline and read it without seeing the date and feel like deja vu, because it's almost the exact thing that we have heard before, right? I mean, Tiger's trying to make a comeback. Trying to get back on track, getting ready for this year. And then he has this accident. And thankfully, nobody involved was hurt, right? Sound like he was driving at a high speed and clipped a trailer of a truck, like a pressure washing truck. He tried to pass him and just clipped the end of it. And he rolled his $1 million Land Rover. Very nice looking car. I saw the picture, by the way.
Yeah.
Very, very nice looking car. Not anymore. So, yeah, I mean, thankfully that nobody's hurt, but Tiger, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the money. I don't know what he was on his way to, whether it was a tee time or what, but you've got the money, man, at this point to never have to drive again. Go hire a driver. And I know there's a lot of speculation out there because of the multiple injuries and surgeries that Tiger Woods has had. And, he blew the breathalyzer yesterday and it came out as a 0.00. So it wasn't alcohol that's in his system. And then he declined a urine test, right?
Yes.
So,
yep.
I mean, people could speculate on what he was under the influence of, right? And there's all these theories of what was going on. But at the end of the day, man, if you are impaired, do not drive. Do not drive. Get somebody to help you out. And again, it's just terrible that this is a second time that we've got to talk about this with Tiger. I mean, you're talking about a dude that even still on the course, one of the best golfers of all time, one of the greatest athletes of all time, but he's got all of this off the field stuff that is just continuing to damage his legacy over and over and over again. And it's like, you have the world in your hands, bro, and you're letting it get the better of you. You can't keep your head on straight.
Yeah. For this to happen again. You think you learned your lesson the first time. But you're absolutely right. I know it's a technical foul, and I know that we in this segment we typically make light of situations, but in this one, in all seriousness, get someone to never drive impaired.
No, it's terrible.
For your sake, for the sake of others.
And you're lucky nobody got hurt, man.
And this one, nobody got hurt, and I think that's obviously the best part about it.
Reading an article from the New York Post, super credible source. He was released from jail Friday night, several hours after being booked on DUI charges. And then the last sentence of the article says, he snuck out of the back door of the jail in a failed bid to avoid the media.
There is pictures of him leaving in the passenger seat of a different car. Right?
Yeah, that's right. That picture is going around. Yeah.
So it does feel very deja vu-y, I guess, with this story, because I mean we've seen it before.
Yeah, and apparently he's dating President Trump's former daughter-in-law. Is that the?
I have no idea.
I'm not sure the exact relationship, but basically Donald Trump came and said that he doesn't want his grandkids to ride with Tiger Woods anymore. Yeah. That's, you know what? I had that situation too. It got to a point where, my mom told me I couldn't ride with my grandpa anymore in the car. That happens. Some reasons are different than others.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happens.
It does.
Tiger, at this point, I think you would be better off served just disappearing into obscurity. I think right now Tiger Woods is doing more to hurt his reputation than help it, and I know he's constantly going to think that this is the year that I'm going to get back on track, and then again something stupid happens.
Yeah, and Alex Carey brought up a really good point yesterday when we were talking about this as we were getting ready for JJ and Alex. He's like, I don't think there's really many more people that like an entire country is rooting for and hoping that there is redemption there and there is success. People like Tiger
Because he was the coolest dude ever.
Yeah, people love Tiger. And
in the early 2000s, he was the next Michael Jordan.
Right. And then he goes and does stuff like this, and it's like, again.
Yeah, now we all look stupid.
Yeah.
I'm done with Tiger.
It's unfortunate.
I'm
man.
done with Tiger Woods, man.
Unfortunate.
Shout out to the Royals, lead in 1-0 at halftime. Again, Utah Royals with the Saturday morning matchup against the Boston Legacy. That game is currently on 12:80 a.m. Also streaming on the YouTube. If you want to watch some NWSL action, go check out the Royals 1-0 at halftime. Shout out to JP Chunga doing that game. We're going to take a break. Coming up next, we will talk about March Madness, Elite Eight today.
Let's do it.
Sweet 16, not a ton of action, but a ton of action at the same time, if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
We'll get into that next. Elite Eight starting today, and we'll talk about some of those games and what we've seen throughout March Madness. Stick with us. It's the Saturday Show, 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.